What if what you believe about colon cancer after 60 is actually wrong and could be quietly putting your health at risk? Most people think colon cancer is something that only happens to others, or that if they feel fine, they must be fine. But the truth is, many of the beliefs we've carried for years about colon cancer, especially after age 60, are not only outdated, they can be dangerous. For years, I've sat across from patients, many of them in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, who believed they were doing everything right until a routine checkup revealed something unexpected. And the most heartbreaking part? So many of those cases could have been prevented if only they had known the facts sooner. Here's the reality. Colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. It affects both men and women, and the risk rises sharply with age. But what's often overlooked is that most colon cancers are preventable, with the right knowledge, timely screening, and everyday choices that support colon health. And that's why I made this video. My goal isn't to scare you, it's to empower you. Because when it comes to colon cancer, what you don't know can hurt you. But what you learn today can quite literally save your life. In this video, we're going to separate myths from medical truth. We'll uncover the most common misconceptions I hear from patients over 60. Things like, I feel fine, so I don't need a colonoscopy, or I'm too old to bother with screening. We'll look at what the latest science really says about risk, prevention, and treatment. And most importantly, I'll show you practical, realistic steps you can take starting today to protect your health and take control of your future. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and stay with me until the end. Because by the time we finish, you'll see colon cancer not as an inevitable threat of aging, but as a disease that can be detected early, managed effectively, and in many cases, completely prevented. Let's get started. Let's start with one of the most common and most dangerous myths I hear. Colon cancer only affects men. I can't tell you how many times I've had women tell me, "Oh, doctor, I don't need to worry about colon cancer. That's more of a man's disease." And every time I have to gently correct them, because that couldn't be further from the truth. Here's what the data actually shows. After age 60, the risk of developing colon cancer rises sharply for both men and women. Yes, men may have a slightly higher incidence overall, but women are not far behind. In fact, colon cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in both sexes in the United States. And when we look at mortality, the number of people who die from the disease, men and women are nearly neck and neck. The difference lies not in gender, but in exposure, how long we've lived, what we've eaten, how active we've been, and whether we've been screened. By the time we reach our 60s or 70s, those years of lifestyle and environmental influences begin to add up, regardless of whether you're male or female. Now, what's also interesting is that colon cancer can look slightly different between genders. Men are more likely to develop cancers on the left side of the colon, the part closer to the rectum, which can cause symptoms like blood in the stool or changes in bowel habits early on. Women, however, tend to have cancers that develop higher up in the colon, and those often grow silently with subtle or no symptoms until later stages. That means women are sometimes diagnosed later when treatment becomes more complex. So if you've ever thought, I'm a woman, I don't have to worry, please don't fall for that myth. Colon cancer doesn't discriminate by gender. It's not a man's disease. It's a human disease. The real risk factors aren't about who you are. They're about age, genetics, and lifestyle. The longer we live, the more chances our cells have to mutate. If we eat low-fiber, high-fat foods, smoke or drink excessively, those risks rise even higher. So whether you're a man or a woman, the takeaway is the same. Once you cross age 50, and especially after 60, colon cancer screening is not optional. It's essential, because prevention doesn't care about gender. It only cares that you take action. And that's where understanding the next myth becomes even more important. The belief that if you have no symptoms, you must be safe. Let's talk about that next. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt perfectly healthy, yet skipped your regular checkup because, well, nothing felt wrong? That's one of the most dangerous assumptions when it comes to colon cancer. Here's the truth. Colon cancer doesn't always announce itself. It's not the kind of disease that suddenly appears overnight with pain or clear warning signs. Instead, it develops slowly, often over years, and begins with something deceptively harmless, small growths called polyps. At first, these polyps are benign. You won't feel them, you won't see them. There's no pain, no change in appetite, no visible blood. But over time, if left unchecked, some of these polyps can mutate. Their cells begin dividing uncontrollably, and that's when cancer starts to form. Now imagine this scenario. A 64-year-old patient of mine, let's call him James, came in for his first routine colonoscopy. He felt great. No symptoms, active lifestyle, clean diet. He only agreed to screening because his wife insisted. During the procedure, we discovered 3 precancerous polyps. They were removed immediately. If James had waited even a few more years, those polyps might have evolved into full-blown colon cancer. He left that day healthy, but also grateful, because feeling fine had almost fooled him. This is why screening saves lives. A colonoscopy doesn't just detect cancer, it prevents it by finding and removing polyps before they ever become dangerous. And if colonoscopy sounds intimidating, there are other reliable tests, like FIT stool tests or DNA-based stool tests, that can be done from home. So remember this, when it comes to colon cancer, silence doesn't mean safety. Feeling fine doesn't mean you're cancer-free. The only way to be sure is through regular screening, especially after age 60. Because the best time to find colon cancer is before it finds you. This is one of the most common things I hear from patients over 70. They say, "Doctor, I'm too old for screening. I've lived a good life. What's the point now?" But here's the truth. You're never too old to care about your health, especially when it comes to preventing colon cancer. Let's start with what the science says. According to the American Cancer Society, regular colon cancer screening should continue through age 75 for those in good health. After that, the decision becomes more personalized, case by case, depending on your overall condition, medical history, and life expectancy. Why? Because colon cancer doesn't automatically stop developing once you hit a certain birthday. In fact, more than half of new cases occur in adults over 65. And here's something even more important. Studies show that screening after 70 still saves lives, especially when precancerous polyps are caught early. Now, I know some people worry about the discomfort or preparation that comes with colonoscopy, but the good news is we now have simpler, less invasive options. Tests like the FIT stool test or DNA-based stool tests such as Cologuard can be done right at home. They don't require sedation or hospital visits, and they're excellent for ongoing monitoring in older adults. Let me give you an example. A patient of mine, Mrs. Thompson, was 74 and initially refused further screening. She said, "I'm old enough. I don't need this anymore." But after a conversation about the newer, easier stool tests, she agreed. Her FIT test came back positive, and a follow-up colonoscopy revealed a small, early-stage tumor. It was removed successfully, and today she's cancer-free. That one decision, not to give up on screening, likely saved her life. So before you decide you're too old, talk to your doctor. Make it a shared decision, not a self-canceled one. Because prevention doesn't have an age limit. Whether you're 60, 70, or even 80, it's never too late to protect your health. And sometimes one more screening can mean many more tomorrows. I love it when my patients tell me, "Doctor, I eat clean, lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, so I don't need to worry about colon cancer," right? I wish it were that simple. Yes, diet plays a huge role in prevention. A diet rich in fiber, antioxidants, and plant-based foods can help keep your colon healthy. But colon cancer isn't caused or prevented by diet alone. There are other powerful forces at play. Genetics, chronic inflammation, smoking, alcohol use, and inactivity. Even the healthiest eater can develop polyps, those small growths in the colon that can turn cancerous over time. And here's the tricky part, they grow silently. You won't feel them. You won't see them. That's why regular screening is essential, no matter how healthy your lifestyle is. Let me tell you about one of my patients. Let's call him John. John was 68, followed a near-perfect Mediterranean diet, exercised every day, and had never smoked. He almost skipped his colonoscopy because he felt great, but when he finally agreed to do it, we found 2 precancerous polyps. They were removed before they had a chance to cause any harm. John's story reminds us that healthy habits lower your risk, but they don't eliminate it. Because while you can control what you eat, you can't always control your genes or your body's internal changes over time. So the best approach is a combination. Eat well, stay active, don't smoke, limit alcohol, and get screened regularly. Prevention is not one-dimensional, it's a team effort between your habits and your health care. Because real protection comes not just from what's on your plate, but from the choices you make year after year to stay ahead of disease. This is one of the most dangerous myths I hear. Many people believe that colon cancer will announce itself with clear, dramatic symptoms like bleeding, pain, or major changes in bowel habits. But the truth is, it often doesn't. Yes, there can be warning signs. Blood in the stool, a change in bowel frequency or consistency, unexplained weight loss or fatigue, persistent abdominal discomfort. But here's what I want you to remember. These symptoms don't show up in every case, especially in the early stages. In fact, many people with early colon cancer feel completely fine. They eat well, move normally, have no pain, no visible blood, and no clue that something dangerous might be developing quietly inside. That's why waiting for symptoms before getting tested is such a risky mistake. By the time obvious signs appear, the disease may already be advanced, harder to treat, and with fewer options for cure. One of my patients once told me, "Doctor, I thought I was okay because everything seemed normal, but his screening revealed an early tumor that we caught just in time. He had no symptoms, and because of that early test, he's alive and healthy today." So please, don't let the absence of symptoms lull you into false security. Colon cancer is sneaky, but screening exposes it before it can strike. Even when you feel well, testing is the only way to truly know. This myth breaks my heart because it couldn't be further from the truth. A colon cancer diagnosis is not the end of the story. In fact, for many people, it's the beginning of taking back control. Let's start with the facts. When colon cancer is found early, before it spreads, the survival rate is over 90%. That's right, 9 out of 10 people beat it when it's caught soon enough. And even in later stages, new treatments are improving outcomes every year. Modern medicine has come a long way. We now have minimally invasive surgeries that allow faster recovery and fewer complications. Targeted therapies can attack cancer cells more precisely, sparing healthy tissue. And immunotherapy, one of the biggest breakthroughs, helps the body's own defense system fight back. But beyond medical treatment, there's something just as powerful: lifestyle and mindset. After diagnosis, staying active, eating a balanced diet, and keeping a hopeful attitude can improve both physical recovery and emotional well-being. Many of my older patients who once thought their lives were over after diagnosis are now living full, vibrant years, gardening, traveling, spending time with grandchildren. So no, being diagnosed with colon cancer doesn't mean giving up. It means fighting smart with the best tools we've ever had. Knowledge, early action, and a proactive spirit can change everything. Key takeaway: even after diagnosis, you still have power. The earlier you act, the stronger your chances, because colon cancer is not a death sentence. It's a challenge you can face and overcome one step at a time. Now that we've busted the common myths, let's talk about the reality. Colon cancer is largely preventable, even after age 60. Prevention starts with a few key pillars. Don't smoke. Tobacco is a major driver of DNA damage and inflammation. Quitting at any age lowers your risk. Limit alcohol. Excess drinking increases inflammation and can harm the colon lining. Even moderate reduction makes a difference. Eat high-fiber, low-processed foods. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes keep your digestive system healthy and feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Stay active. Regular movement improves bowel function, reduces inflammation, and supports healthy weight. Get screened regularly. Colonoscopy, FIT tests, or DNA stool tests detect early disease before symptoms ever appear. Here's the powerful part. These habits don't just prevent colon cancer. They reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even dementia. You're not just protecting one organ, you're strengthening your entire body and improving quality of life. And let me be clear, prevention isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. Every small choice you make today, tomorrow, and next week adds up. Every healthy meal, every brisk walk, every screening test is a step toward control, confidence, and longevity. The bottom line, you don't have to wait for a symptom or a scare. You can take action now, and it will pay off for years to come. Because real prevention is consistent, informed, and proactive. And that brings us to our final message. Taking action starts with you. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect. Colon cancer after 60 may seem daunting, but it is preventable, especially when we replace myths with facts and take control of our health. Remember this, you're never too old to protect your health, and it's never too early to start. Every choice you make today, no matter how small, can have a lasting impact on your future. Here's what you can do right now. Schedule your next screening. Don't wait for symptoms. Early detection saves lives. Make one healthy change this week. Eat more fiber, take a daily walk, or cut back on alcohol. Share this video with friends or family who might still believe these myths. Education is power. Colon cancer doesn't have to be inevitable. With knowledge, action, and consistency, you can protect yourself and those you love. Thank you for watching, and remember, prevention starts with awareness, and awareness starts with you.